They told you that love is something you must chase, that marriage is something you must wait for, that the right person will come when the time is right. But what if the truth is far more powerful than that? What if, in just 3 nights, you could shift something so deeply within yourself that the very idea of marriage begins to chase you? Not by force, not by desperation, but by a quiet, undeniable pull that no one can resist. This is not about tricks or manipulation. This is about becoming the version of yourself that love cannot ignore. There is a hidden law within you, a silent force that shapes every experience you have ever lived. It doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, it simply reflects. Whatever you consistently feel to be true about yourself becomes your reality. And when it comes to marriage, most people unknowingly push it away, not because they don't want it, but because deep inside they feel unchosen, uncertain, or incomplete. They wait for someone else to validate their worth, not realizing that the world only mirrors the story they already believe. For 3 nights, you are going to step out of that old story. Not tomorrow, not someday tonight. You are going to stop looking at your current reality as proof of anything. You will stop measuring your worth by your past experiences. Instead, you will enter a state where your desire is no longer a wish, but a memory. This is where everything changes, because when something feels like it has already happened, the mind stops chasing it, and the world starts delivering it. On the first night, as you lay down, close your eyes and create a single scene. Not a long fantasy, not a complicated story, just one short moment that implies your marriage is already real. Maybe it's someone holding your hand and calling you theirs. Maybe it's a quiet conversation where you are addressed as a spouse. Keep it simple, but make it vivid. Feel the warmth, the certainty, the calmness of it. Don't watch it like a movie. Step inside it. Become the person in that moment. Your mind may try to resist. It may remind you of your current situation, your past disappointments, or the time that has already passed. Ignore it. This is not about logic. This is about identity. You are not trying to convince yourself, you are choosing who you are. Stay in that scene until it feels natural. Not forced, not desperate, just normal. As if this is simply who you are now. Then fall asleep in that feeling. On the second night, you go deeper. You return to the same scene, but this time you add emotion, not excitement, not obsession peace. The kind of peace that comes when something is already yours. You don't worry about losing it. You don't question if it will happen. You simply rest in it. This is the feeling that transforms everything. Because when you feel secure within yourself, the world rearranges to match that certainty. Throughout the day after the second night, you may notice subtle shifts. Maybe it's a change in how you carry yourself. Maybe it's a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. Don't analyze it. Just allow it. This is the old version of you dissolving. You are no longer the person waiting for marriage. You are the person for whom marriage is inevitable. And when that identity becomes stable, reality has no choice but to follow. On the third night, something powerful happens. The scene no longer feels like imagination. It begins to feel like truth. You don't have to force it anymore. It comes naturally. And this is the moment where the shift becomes permanent. Because now you are no longer practicing, you are embodying. You are living from the end, not hoping for it. And when you live from the end, you remove all resistance. Understand this clearly. The world does not respond to your words. It responds to your state of being. If you feel like someone who is still searching, you will continue to search. But if you feel like someone who is already chosen, already loved, already secure, then everything begins to move toward you. Opportunities appear, connections form, situations align in ways you cannot predict. This is why you must guard your inner world after these 3 nights. Do not go back to old thoughts. Do not entertain doubt. If a negative thought appears, don't fight it, replace it. Return to your scene. Return to that feeling. Strengthen it. Because consistency is what makes this real. Not effort, not struggle, just persistence in the identity you have chosen. You may wonder how long it will take for things to show up in your reality. But that question itself comes from the old version of you, the one who is still waiting. The new version of you doesn't ask when. The new version knows, and that knowing is what accelerates everything. Time becomes irrelevant when the feeling is already complete. There is something magnetic about a person who is internally fulfilled. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't settle, and because of that, they become irresistible. Not because they are trying to impress anyone, but because they are aligned with themselves. This is the energy that draws people in. This is the energy that makes marriage come to you, instead of you chasing it. So for these 3 nights, commit fully, not halfway, not with doubt, completely. Give yourself to the process, trust it. Because this is not about changing the world, it's about changing you. And when you change, the world has no choice but to reflect that change back to you. Remember, you are not waiting for someone to choose you. You are becoming someone who is already chosen. And when that becomes your truth, marriage doesn't feel distant anymore. It feels inevitable. It feels natural. It feels like something that is already on its way, moving toward you with certainty. 3 nights. That's all it takes to begin. Not to force, not to chase, but to align. And once you align, everything else follows. Everything you experience on the outside is only a reflection of what you have accepted as true within yourself. If deep inside you feel overlooked, uncertain, or unworthy, the world will keep presenting situations that match that feeling. But the moment you begin to feel chosen, valued, and secure within your own mind, something powerful shifts. You are no longer asking for love, you are embodying it. That internal shift sends a silent message to life itself. People begin to respond differently. Opportunities begin to open, and connections start to form naturally. It is not coincidence, it is alignment. You stop reacting to reality and start shaping it. The feeling of being chosen becomes your new normal. And when it feels normal, it becomes real. You don't need proof anymore because the feeling itself is enough. The world simply follows what you already believe. This is how transformation truly begins. There is a quiet strength in no longer chasing what you desire. When you stop running after marriage and instead become someone who already feels complete, everything changes. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak differently, and think differently. You are no longer searching for validation because you have already given it to yourself. That inner fulfillment removes all pressure, all desperation, and all fear. And strangely, that is what makes you more attractive than ever. People are drawn to certainty, not neediness. When you know who you are, others feel it without you saying a word. You stop trying to impress and start simply being. That energy cannot be ignored. Marriage stops feeling like something far away and starts feeling like something that naturally belongs to you. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. And once it happens, there is no going back. A long, complicated vision is not necessary to change your life. In fact, simplicity holds more power than complexity. One short, vivid moment felt deeply is enough to rewrite your inner story. When you focus on a single scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled, your mind begins to accept it as reality. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to feel real. The warmth of a hand, the sound of a loving voice, the calmness of belonging, these small details carry immense power. The more you return to that moment, the more natural it becomes. And as it becomes natural, it starts replacing your old beliefs. Your imagination is not just fantasy, it is a tool of creation. What you consistently feel, you begin to live. That one scene becomes a doorway to a new life. And the more you step into it, the more it shapes your world. The feeling of already having what you desire removes all tension from your mind. When you are waiting for something, you create resistance. You notice its absence, you question its arrival, and you doubt its possibility. But when you feel like it is already yours, all of that disappears. You relax, you trust, you allow. This state of calm certainty is what accelerates everything. You are no longer pushing against reality, you are flowing with it. The desire stops feeling like something distant and starts feeling like something present. That shift is what makes manifestation effortless. You don't have to force anything because there is nothing to force. It already feels done. And when it feels done, life moves quickly to reflect that truth. The less you chase, the faster it comes. This is the paradox that changes everything. Desperation pushes things away, while peace draws them closer. When you feel anxious, needy, or fearful, that energy creates distance between you and what you want. But when you feel calm, secure, and fulfilled, you become magnetic. Peace is not weakness, it is power. It shows that you trust yourself and trust life. This kind of energy is rare, and that is why it stands out. People are naturally drawn to someone who is at ease within themselves. You don't need to prove anything or convince anyone. Your presence speaks for you. Love grows in that space of calmness. Connection deepens in that space of security. And marriage finds its way into that space of certainty. When you master your inner peace, you no longer chase love, it begins to move toward you effortlessly. Who you believe you are determines what you experience in life. If you see yourself as someone still waiting, still hoping, still searching, then that is the role you will continue to play. But when you shift your identity to someone who is already chosen, already loved, and already secure, everything changes. You start making decisions from that place. You start thinking from that place. You start living from that place. And life responds accordingly. Identity is not just a thought, it is a foundation. It shapes every action, every reaction, and every outcome. When your identity changes, your world cannot stay the same. It must adjust to match you. This is why inner work is so powerful. You are not trying to control life, you are becoming someone life responds to differently. And once that identity becomes stable, your results become inevitable. Consistency is what turns imagination into reality. It is not about doing something once and expecting instant results. It is about returning to that feeling again and again until it becomes part of you. Each time you revisit your desired state, you strengthen it. Each time you choose belief over doubt, you reinforce it. Slowly, your old thoughts lose their power and your new identity takes over. This is how transformation becomes permanent. It is not forced, it is built. And as it builds, your external world begins to reflect it, step by step. Things start to align in ways you could not predict. Opportunities appear, connections form, and circumstances shift. All because you stayed consistent within. The imagination you once practiced becomes the reality you now live. And what once felt distant becomes something you naturally experience every day.